Hi, I'm Anita, and today we're back in Twisted Wonderland for the Culinary Crucible. I think this one is called Confection Perfection. I hope I'm saying that right. So let's get started. So if you know for sure you want both characters for this event, it's Bill and Jack this time round. So if you know you want both of them, so here's what I would do if I were you. I would pull for them, but before you go pulling for them, hear me out first. So these are only SR cards. They are not SSR cards. So if I were you, I would not use my 10-fold keys. I'm tapping right here, down here. So I wouldn't use your 10-fold keys on SR cards personally. I would save those, especially because there's a lot of cool new fun things coming late October, and I suspect probably into November, but don't quote me on that per se. So I would personally keep your 10-fold keys for trying to pull for SSR cards. I would not use them for SR cards. You can do right here, down here. You can rewind that. I'm having a hard time clicking on it. So you can do once per day, and it's used your pay gems. You could do that too. I would suggest doing the 1 keys. I would use the 1 magical key for a 1 summon to get personally for one of these cards if I were you. That's just a personal preference. I like to keep my 10-fold keys for SSR cards. I guess if you're having a really hard time getting one of these cards, you could use your 10-fold keys. I would highly not suggest it, but it's up to you. So my other piece of advice for you is, let's go into here, into the event. So say you pulled for Jack. You got Jack from the mirror. So I would put him on your team immediately. Here's why. Because if you have one or both in your party here, you get better drops on in this section here, gathering gathering ingredients. That's the better word. Gathering ingredients. So if I were you, I would pull for 1, and I'll tell you why. Get 1 if you know you have your heart set on both characters, and then put 1 on your team so that you can get better drops, better ingredient drops for recipes. Here's my other piece of advice for you for this event. So also another trick is, so if you do 20 minutes at a time, you don't get as good of drops. You don't get as good of ingredients and as many ingredients. So the more you go up, the the better ingredients and more ingredients you get. Hopefully that's clear. Sorry, I'm not sure why I couldn't make that clearer for some reason. So what I always do is I switch between 60 minutes and 150 minutes, except for at night, because I know I'm not going to be playing all night long, even if I wanted to. I have to get some sleep. So I make sure that I switch between these two during the day, or I do switch this one on, and I do use it during the day when I know I'm going to be gone for a good long time. I'm not going to be anywhere near my iPad. I play on my iPad, so I do use it then, but most of the time I switch between these two, and I turn this one on when I am done for the day and I'm going to bed at night. So that's my first piece of advice for you. Oh, too, so before I forget, when you start this, you get a recipe. I highly, highly, highly suggest using it. I got the chocolate cake. I'm assuming everyone else did too. I highly, highly, highly suggest doing it right away. It comes so in handy, trust me. Oh, so for this event, there are missions, and thank goodness they're by the weekly in general and by the book missions. Whoops. So right here where I'm tapping on the side of the screen. So I would first go out of my way for the timers. They come in real handy. I actually used some before I did this tutorial. So I would go on my way for the timers. I think that's what they call them. And then the gems you get. It looks like you get 60 gems from this event. So if I were you, if you know neither characters are your favorite, I would for sure at least get the gems. But I would even suggest doing this event too, because you win thumb marks. So if you're new to the game and you're not sure what thumb marks are, I'll show you where you use some. So thumb marks help you see right here. This right here is thumb marks. So it costs you thumb marks to upgrade in the spell section, especially it kind of needs them. I think you have to, yeah, and here too, to do your card level where I'm tapping right here. I think you need it for vignettes too. Anyway, you get a lot of thumb marks for this with this event. So I would highly suggest plowing through if you can, because you get a lot of thumb marks for this event, which come really, really, really in handy. So before I forget, I think I forgot to mention in the beginning of this. So this event goes from September, it started September 30th, but it ends October 9th. So you want to start grinding right away. I would start grinding really fast if I were you. All right, so we'll go into the shop. So see here where I'm tapping in the shop. So tap here. So right here where I'm tapping, this is where we're at right now. So for this event, I would suggest, why I told you to only pull for one, so you can get the other, after you get so many tokens, you can get this key here. So if we go right below it, I'm tapping on it right here, you can buy one or the other character that you didn't get in the mirror. So I would highly suggest doing that if you are on a gym's budget or out of, or if you don't have enough keys. So that's the other thing too. I would get, for some reason, if Phil or Jack isn't a favorite character of yours, I would also just do this event to get these keys. You always get keys, trust me, you always want keys. Also, what's really fun and great with this event is that you can get furniture in this section here, too, not just the keys and these and any extra things like that you need. So any of the blooming honey or secret snacks, I think that's the name. Shards, trust me, you'll always want shards. I'm betting you'll probably want shards for what's coming. If you wonder how I know what's coming this October in Twisted Wonderland, I have a news reaction, so go check that out when you're done here with this video. So something I would like to mention before I forget, sorry I'm all over the place today, I'm not sure why. So don't sweat too much with trying to get these tokens here and trying to get 3 stars on your dishes. It will kind of happen naturally. So what I would suggest doing though, for sure, and it will kind of help you accomplish these naturally, is just if you have an ingredient, just use it. Just like go and go through your ingredients. Do not keep or save any of them, and then this will just kind of happen naturally. The main thing with this event is to just make as many thumb marks as you possibly can. So I'll try to show you what I was talking about, hopefully. So what I like to do is I put it on auto select, or I turn it on low, but what happens, so see here, so I have 15 sugars, but I have to use up, so when I use up 8, then after I get to 9, then I'm using the gold sugar. Oops. So that's why I would suggest just using ingredients up until, and just keep just using them. Don't like hoard any of them, because eventually, naturally, you know, by the 9th one, I'm using quality. And you'll kind of naturally do that, you know, with all your ingredients. So if, you know, we do it with these nuts and the egg. See already, like with the egg. So don't hoard anything. Don't hoard your ingredients. All right, so I'm going to go over recipes. So if you consider that a spoiler, you might want to click off now. But if you're like me and Grim and Rugi, where we feel like it's a crime to waste food, stick around, because yeah, if you're like me and it's in your psyche that you're like, I just can't waste it, stick around. So I'll go over the recipes next. I'm reading these off from the Twisted Wonderland wiki. It's a great wiki. I'm always on it for this game. I highly suggest go checking them out. It's great. So that's where I'm getting the recipes from. I'll try and remember to link it below. I don't think I usually do, but I think I will this time, tell you how much thumb marks, I hope I'm saying that right, you get for each dish. So here we go. All right, for the chocolate cake, you need sugar, cocoa, I don't have any to show you, sorry, flour, don't have that any to show you, sorry, and an egg. Next recipe is macaroons. So that calls for flour, nuts, almonds. Oh, it says right there, almonds. Next recipe is fruit terrine. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm assuming it's a French word, and yeah. So those of you who are new here, I have dyslexia. So it's really hard to read, but then it's really hard to read when it's a different language. So yeah, anyway, that aside. So sugar, fruit, and gelatin. Yeah, gelatin. Next one is rice pudding. So sugar, rice, don't have it, and milk. Then the next recipe is sweet bean soup. Oh, sweet red bean soup. Sweet red bean soup, sorry. So that calls for sugar, rice, and beans? I'm guessing beans. Then the next recipe is apple pie. So sugar, fruit, and pie crust. Ooh, I actually have one. Sweet. Pun not intended. Oops. All right, meringue cookies is next. So it calls for sugar, fruit, and eggs. Oh, I was gonna tell you what the price of, or how many thumb marks you get. I'll go over that after I'm done here. Not to get confusing. So almond pudding calls for sugar, almonds, an egg, and milk. Then we have avocado chocolate mousse. So that calls for sugar, avocado, cocoa, gelatin, and milk. All right, I'll go back and tell you what the price is for. So for chocolate cake, it is 450 thumb marks. Then for the macaroons, it's 400 thumb marks. Then the fruit terrine, is that how you say that? It is 400 thumb marks. For the for the rice pudding, it is 400 thumb marks. For the sweet red bean soup, it is 400 thumb marks. For the apple pie, it's 400 thumb marks. For the meringue cookies, it's 400 thumb marks. For the almond pudding, it is 450 thumb marks. And then for the avocado chocolate mousse, it is 500 thumb marks. So this is a really, really nice opportunity to get, if you're like me, much needed thumb marks. Oh, a tip I forgot to give you when I first started this. I'm so sorry, I'm all over the place. So I'd highly suggest, if I were you, to if you're like me and like to, or turn this on, I think it's 360-minute option. I would highly suggest always doing sugar because every recipe calls for sugar. So if you're out of, so even if you have all the other ingredients, if you don't have sugar, it won't matter because every recipe calls for sugar. So I'd highly suggest, if I were you, to, when you go to bed at night or you know you're not going to be able to play the game for a really good long time, I would turn on that option. I would turn it on the 360 option if I were you. Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, I'm not sure why that was hard for me to spit out for some reason.
寮のみんなに焼きリンゴのレシピを教えたら微妙な反応をされちゃった。バターと砂糖が多すぎるってさ。
There's no such thing as too much butter and sugar. At least I like to think so. I'm with you on that, Ebel. I'll bake apples with you, Ebel. That sounds really yummy. So comment below. I'm thinking about doing a tutorial on how all the ways that you can earn thumb marks. I really hope I'm saying that right. I'm assuming that's how you say that. Thumb marks in this game. Comment below, would you like that? So if you love Twisted Wonderland as much as I love Twisted Wonderland, this is the channel for you. I'm trying as hard as I can to cover all the news on Twisted Wonderland that I can. I'm trying to come up with as many tutorials and guides that I possibly can. So I'm also trying to come up with even more content for Twisted Wonderland for this channel. So stay tuned for that. If you also love Disney's Dreamlight Valley, I have a fantastic series for you. I am doing Switch-friendly speed builds on my channel, so check those out. I've also been playing Epic Mickey on my channel, so check that out. If you love Pokemon as much as I love Pokemon, I think I've come up with some more content. I think I said a while ago I've kind of got burnt out and couldn't think of content ideas at all for anything, but I think I've come up with some really fun, interesting content for everything, and Pokemon is one of them, so stay tuned for that. I play a bunch of different games on my channel, so check those out. And if you love this, you'll love the next one on screen. See you up there!